Cities, like dreams, are made of desires and fears. Even if the thread of their discourse is secret, their rules are absurd, their perspectives deceitful, and everything conceals something else. The survival of human civilization relied on hunting and gathering for thousands of years. Historians believe that cities first started to appear after the Neolithic, or agricultural age. Crop cultivation and animal domestication meant more reliable food supply, and this enabled humans to stay and survive in one place. But as we will see on the list today, the idea of lots of people in close proximity, along with various other factors like poverty and drugs, can lead to violence, crime, and death. Here is a list of 15 of the most dangerous and deadliest cities in recent years. Not taking war and suicide into account, these cities are on the list due to high homicide rate. Please subscribe to stay up to date with new releases, and click the like button if you like the video. There are 3 countries in Central America, known as the Northern Triangle, that has seen an estimated 2 million people flee violent crime since 2014. They are El Salvador, Guatemala, and Honduras. El Salvador's homicide rate had dropped sharply from the violent days of the mid-2010s, when 15 or 20 killings a day were routine. But the country continues to have one of the world's highest homicide rates. San Salvador comes in at number 15 on our list with an average of 59.1 murders per 100,000 people. This number has been declining since 2015, where this number was almost 110, which made it the world's 3rd most dangerous city in 2015. Moving east, we can see that not everything is a paradise in the Caribbean. Number 14 on our list is Kingston in Jamaica. Jamaica is one of the world's most popular tourist destinations, with stunning tropical beaches and coral reefs. However, in some areas of Kingston and Montego Bay, gang violence and shootings are common. The capital city of this small island nation should be avoided without a local guide. Crime levels are high, and the motive for most attacks on tourists is robbery, with the most violent crimes mainly affecting the local Jamaican population. Most hotels and resorts are well guarded, but it is good to take precautions and protect yourself and your belongings. Violence linked to drug cartels is responsible for thousands of murders in Mexico every year. In 2021, at the end of September, 21,495 people had died from gang-related violence. This is a shocking average of almost 2,400 deaths per month. Unfortunately, as you will see in this video, Mexico will feature quite a lot. For number 13, we move on to another popular tourist attraction, Cancun in Mexico. In 2018, the city experienced a nationwide groundbreaking homicide rate, which was more than double the local country rate. This was attributed to both drug and non-drug related criminal gang violence. Cancun attracts millions of tourists annually and contributes to about 75% of income for the region. But the area is being plagued by violence, as drug cartels dispute territories and run extortion rackets. For our next city, we head to the United States. St. Louis has been the murder capital of the United States since 2014. St. Louis in Missouri is a bustling industrial city and home to numerous Fortune 500 companies. However, the city is still among the most dangerous in the United States, with a murder rate of 65.8 per 100,000 people. Tourists are generally quite safe here and there is plenty to do. However, as is the case with cities all over the world, it is best not to stray far away from main tourist areas. Most of the violence in this city is concentrated in the northern region. Drug usage in this city is also one of the highest in the United States. For number 11, we go to the oldest city in South Africa, Cape Town. A beautiful city with thousands of tourists every year, Cape Town has the distinction of being the most violent city in Africa among countries that are not at war, and also the most violent city outside of the Americas. The city has a population of close to 4.5 million people, and in 2019 there were more than 3,000 homicides, more than any other city not at war. But Cape Town is almost a tale of two cities. where the poor communities of the Cape Flats contribute to 95% of the crime, while the city center and surrounding areas are pretty safe in terms of violent crimes. The Cape Flats is an expansive, low-lying flat area situated to the southeast of the central business district of Cape Town, and it is one of the most violent and dangerous places in South Africa. There are 130 different gangs in this city, and more than 100,000 people are associated with them. Gang violence often escalates to the point where the South African National Defence Force has to be deployed to the gang-ridden areas to help the provincial police maintain order. We head back to the Americas for number 10. The Amazon River port city of Belém is the eastern gateway city into the lush Amazon region, and the capital of Pará, Brazil's second largest state by landmass. Belém is a very dangerous city. It's ridden with rogue police militias, gangs, and drug dealers. Gangs have been known to use hitmen to terrorize residents of the city. They often drive around in a silver car and will shoot bystanders they see as a threat. On top of the police and gang conflict, Brazilian drug cartels are fighting for territory in the city. Victims are generally young men from poor neighborhoods, but unfortunately, all the violence spills out into the civilian population. In 2019, 3 hooded gunmen killed 11 people in a bar, and many people say this was just an outright slaughter of innocent men, women and children. There aren't too many places in the world that the US State Department issues a do not travel warning to. But Venezuela is one of them, in particular, Ciudad Guayana. Ciudad Guayana is one of the most dangerous cities in the world. Amid the high crime rate, the city also suffers from food scarcities. This Venezuelan port city on the banks of the Orinoco River is Venezuela's second most dangerous city. Violent crime appears to be spreading along the Orinoco. Like elsewhere in the country, the region's cities are struggling with food scarcities and high crime amid Venezuela's worsening economic and security crisis. It's unfortunate, because Venezuela was a thriving economy in the early 2000s. The inflation rate of 30.9% in 2008 has risen to the astronomical level of 130,000 in 2018. This means everything is incredibly expensive. Food prices have soared. Gas is very expensive and difficult to find at times. With a population of 877,547, Ciudad Guayana had 645 homicides in 2018. And in 2017, Venezuela had the second highest rate of gun deaths in the world. We head back to Mexico for number 8. Ciudad Victoria is the seat of the municipality of Victoria, and the capital of the Mexican state of Tamaulipas. Violence is high due to cartel disputes over territory. Much of the bloodshed has come from shootouts between members of criminal groups as well as their clashes with police and soldiers in the streets in and around the city. In recent years, Ciudad Victoria has been wrecked by turf wars. The city has experienced offshoot gangs splitting off from the Gulf and Zeta cartels during heightened security operations. In the earlier years, the city had a murder rate of 30 per 100,000, but with the turf war, it has escalated to 83 murders for every 100,000 residents. The violent clashes between cartels have been going on for many years in Ciudad Victoria. In 2010, 72 migrants were found in shallow graves. They were suspected to have been executed by the cartel. Cartel hitmen terrorize the city, and car bombs are routinely exploding in the city. Grenades are tossed around by hitmen, with no concern for innocent bystanders. Unfortunately, violence and chaos rule the streets of Ciudad Victoria. Moving over to Brazil, we go to Fortaleza, a port city and state capital of Ceará State. The city lies at the mouth of the Paju River on a crescent-shaped indentation of the coastline. There were a staggering 63,880 murders in Brazil in 2017, and Fortaleza's security forces combating violent gangs made up for 5,000 of those deaths. Extreme gang violence fueled by Brazil's drug trade has skyrocketed crime in Fortaleza. The city is under siege by Brazil's most infamous gangs as they fight over territory. Most of these gang wars are driven by the drug trade. At the beginning of 2019, the gang violence in the city drove 4 million citizens to flee the city. Adding to the murders of innocent civilians, the prisons have had numerous violent riots leading to deaths. Upwards of 140 inmates in 2019 were killed in the riots. The government has tried to intervene, although the military was not able to make any improvements. The reality is the gangs govern the city by terrorizing residents. The murder rate has dropped a little, but has been averaging 83.5 for every 100,000 for the last couple of years. People are urged not to go to this city. To quote a resident, "The city is in ruins, robberies happen during daylight, the police is poorly armed and powerless to deter the powerful drug cartels that dominate all of the country." For number 6 we head back to Mexico. The city of La Paz was once a peaceful coastal city sitting on prime coastline. But much like its sister city of Los Cabos just 2 hours south, it is now unfortunately ruined by cartel money. Cocaine and heroin being pushed up California's highways into the United States, make many of these once beautiful resort towns now a key stop of the drug trade highway. La Paz has a murder rate of 84.8 per 100,000 residents. The Los Angeles Times reports that bodies of those killed in escalating violence have been found along roads leading to the airports at La Paz and Los Cabos, key entry points for foreign visitors. Backpackers and digital nomads enjoy the city for its coastal charm, but don't let their enthusiasm lull you into a sense of safety. It's far from it. In 2017, La Paz had a population of 305,455 people and 259 homicides. La Paz may translate to peace, but that's not something you should expect to find in this city. The capital of Baja California Sur. 25% of citizens feel unsafe living in La Paz, and according to them, crime seems to rage non-stop in the streets of the city. At number 5 we go to the most dangerous city in Brazil. Natal is the capital and largest city of the state Rio Grande do Norte, the second largest oil-producing state in Brazil, and is officially the most dangerous city in Brazil today. Theft and muggings are rampant throughout the city. Anything of value spotted makes you a target in Natal, and criminals will resort to killing to make a steal. The citizens of Natal are terrorized and scared. After 7 p.m. the streets are nearly empty, and most residents are locked away in their homes. The city of Natal hosted some of the 2014 FIFA World Cup matches, but after the event, not much was done to bolster security. Now criminals are running the streets. Though the city is still a popular tourist destination, the murder rate averages above 100 per 100,000 people in this city. The main reason for the violence is due to clashes between violent prisoners and street gangs. Natal wasn't always like this, but the completion of the federal prison in Mossoró nearby has made violent crime skyrocket. Natal is the topmost city for all crimes including physical and sexual assault, theft, and carjacking, and is now considered the most violent city in Latin America. Back to Mexico for number 4. The once beautiful resort town of Acapulco is now a crime-ridden drug war zone. In the 1950s, the city of Acapulco was a glamorous travel destination for celebrities and the rich. Now it is a very unsafe city to visit or to even live in. Heavily armed soldiers line the streets and the city looks more like a war zone than a resort town. The stories of violence are abundant. From gunmen shooting a U.S. tourist in the head on a restaurant patio, soldiers being kidnapped by the cartel in broad daylight, shootouts in the streets between gangs and the police, to cartel hitmen executing officials in broad daylight. These types of events are almost a monthly occurrence in Acapulco. Over the last decade, there have been more than 7,000 murders in the city. Many of them unsolved, because the cartel runs the region and uses violence to intimidate its rivals and officials. 2/3 of the state's population falls below the poverty line. So if an opportunity arises from the cartel, it is unfortunately very inviting for the youths of Acapulco. Caracas is the capital of Venezuela, and it has been one of the most violent cities in the world since 2008, and comes in at number 3 on our list. Crime overall has increased quite a bit since the 1990s, due to an inconsistent and corrupt criminal justice system, a steady drug trade that has spilled into Venezuela, and a lack of overall law enforcement. While the drug trade has started to diminish in Colombia, it's actually risen quite a bit in Venezuela. To alleviate this, Venezuela's government has closed the border to Colombia. but it has done very little to stop the climbing crime and drug rate. On March 11, 2019, the U.S. Department of State announced the withdrawal of diplomatic personnel from the U.S. Embassy in Caracas. Violent crimes, such as homicide, armed robbery, kidnapping, and carjacking, are common. Caracas is the most deadly capital city in the world and has a murder rate of approximately 111 per 100,000 citizens. Now on to number 2. Tijuana is Mexico's 6th largest city, and one of its most dangerous. There are 134 murders per 100,000 people, and Tijuana has been ranked as one of Mexico's most dangerous cities in recent years. 7 times more than Detroit. At the end of 2019, Tijuana recorded 2,100 total murders. Zona Norte, also known as Hong Kong District, is one of the most dangerous and highly trafficked tourist areas. Also, the town is dangerous because of territorial disputes between drug cartels, countless scams, and numerous muggings. Most violent crimes are drug-related in Tijuana, and it's been going up since 2017. The criminal activity in the town revolves around the nightlife district and a few other neighborhoods. Mostly these areas are controlled by the cartel. Because it's a border town, it's become a destination for partiers from the United States. Often the crowds of wild tourists and dangerous cartels make bar fights and gun battles commonplace. We stay in Mexico for the most dangerous city on our list. Don't mistake the resort beach town of Cabo San Lucas with Los Cabos, because they are two very different places. Cabo San Lucas is known for its fancy all-inclusive resorts, nice beaches, and as a quick getaway for many Californians. Los Cabos, on the other hand, is known as being a particularly dangerous city, and it's been consistently ranked as the #1 most violent city in the world for many years. There are 138 murders per 100,000 people in Los Cabos. That's over 7 times more murders than Chicago. While the beach town of Cabo San Lucas is a pretty safe area for tourists, the municipality of Los Cabos is very dangerous due to criminal activity related to the drug cartels. It's important to make the distinction between Cabo San Lucas and San Jose del Cabo. San Jose del Cabo is mainly a residential area, and this is the region most crime occurs in. The area of Cabo San Lucas is a resort near the beach, and there is very little violence. The two areas are not very close either, so it's difficult to walk from Cabo San Lucas into San Jose del Cabo. By bus, it takes roughly 30 minutes to travel between the two. So if you plan to visit the resort town of Cabo San Lucas and stay local, you'll probably be okay.